Hello, my name is Tim Dow, and I am the umpire-in-chief for Jericho Little League in District 1 in British Columbia, Canada. Welcome to this video on socially distant umpiring system as part of the District 1 Virtual Umpiring Clinic for 2021. What we're going to do in this video is discuss the special circumstances that we're in 2021, and who knows, maybe in the future, which require that we umpire with a little bit different system than we're used to. So these special circumstances require us to keep our distance from the players and other umpires on the field. So we need to implement a new system in order to maintain that safety against infectious diseases. This picture of Joe West on a Mets player is not a good example of socially distant umpiring. We want to keep our distance. If you want a good laugh, check out this YouTube link and see how these guys got in this situation. All right, we don't want to do this. We want to stay far apart from each other on the field. All right, so in order to do that, we're going to modify our system. The biggest problem with social distancing with the current umpiring system is the plate umpire, the catcher, and the batter. You got three people all within tightly spaced to one another, definitely not with 6 feet of spacing or 2 meter social distance spacing between everybody. So that was the motivation to change the system. So the first thing we need to do is get the plate umpire away from the batter and the catcher, and we're going to move him outside of the dirt circle. The problem with that, though, is now it's very difficult for the plate umpire to call pitches, balls and strikes, because they do not have a good angle over the plate to see the pitch coming into the strike zone. What we're going to do is we're going to take the base umpire, move them from outside of the infield into the infield behind the pitcher's mound. When they do that, they still keep their distance from everyone, but they look right past the pitcher, looking right over the plate into the catcher, and they can see the batter and have a good view of the strike zone. So they're going to take on different responsibilities, and in fact, we're going to call them not the base umpire anymore. We're going to call them the BallStrike Umpire. We can abbreviate that BSU in some of the slides that come later. Now, the main responsibilities of the BallStrike Umpire to call balls and strikes every pitch, but they still retain their responsibilities for out and safe calls on the bases. They're still in the best position to make those calls on the bases. Now, the plate umpire, he is moved out from behind the catcher, but he has also important responsibilities. The problem with where the BallStrike umpire is positioned is they have no visibility down the lines. So it's very difficult to tell if a ball is fair or foul, either in the air or ground balls that go past first and third from the angle from the middle of the diamond. So that's where the plate umpire retains those responsibilities. So instead, in this system, instead of calling them the plate umpire, since they're not directly behind the plate, we're going to change their name to the line umpire. That's their main responsibility, is fair, foul on pitches down the line. Now, they are still in the vicinity of the plate, so they also have responsibilities on pitches. For example, hit by pitch. A lot of times if a ball's in the dirt, maybe at the player's back, the batter's back foot, you will hear that as the plate umpire being right there. You'll hear the different sound of a ball that hits a player's foot versus a ball that hits in the ground. So you'll know, you have some clues that the person was actually hit by a pitched ball. So those responsibilities will stay with the plate umpire. It turns out the plate umpire also has really good visibility on check swings. So where they're going to be positioned, they're looking right at the gap. They're positioned safely behind the batter in a place where it's really difficult to get hit by a foul ball or a pitched ball. But from that position, they have a view right down the line, and they can really see whether the batter swings and makes an attempt to swing at the ball or stops before they make that attempt. They also have really good views on third strikes, drop third strikes if the catcher drops the ball or the ball skips into his glove. So the plate umpire will, or the line umpire in the system, will retain responsibilities for those calls. Also, they're close to home plate, so they're going to make out safe calls at the plate. And one other benefit of this system is they have a great view out to the field. They can see any runners that happen to be on first, second, or third base. And they have a good view of if they're on the base when the pitch is thrown or if they have come off and illegally taken a lead off for Little League. Those are the main responsibilities. And if you take a look at this picture, you can see what this is going to look like. The BallStrike umpire, you can see, is here in this picture. So they're behind the mound, distant from everyone. They're far away from the pitcher, far away from the infielders, but they have that really good view into the catcher, so they can call ball strikes from there. This is going to be our line umpire. You can see where they're positioned outside of the dirt circle. It's really hard for a foul ball or something to come back towards the line umpire. In fact, the line umpire is really only required to wear a mask and a cup in this position because they're in a really safe position. The biggest danger actually is from a bat. If a player, especially in Little League, happens to throw their bat, it might come towards this position, but otherwise they should be very safe. Now from this position, you can see they have really good visibility right down here, so they can see anything, where the bat comes through from the batter, they can see if they're actually making an attempt to swing at the ball or not. Any ball that skips into the catcher's glove, this line umpire will have a good view of that as well. Good. Now, inherent in this system, there's a lot of other extra responsibilities that come along with playing baseball games under COVID protocols, but a lot of these things will be left up to the teams and the leagues. So one of the key things is sanitizing baseballs and equipment. Umpires will not have to deal with that. The teams have safety representatives and they have protocols in place to do all their sanitization. They have got sanitization equipment and wipes to deal with all that. So in this system, umpires will not be handling baseballs. The defensive team will sanitize balls and feed them into the catcher as required by their COVID safety protocols. Same thing goes with the players. We don't need to monitor social distancing between the players. The teams and their safety personnel are going to take care of all that stuff according to their league safety protocols. Same thing with fans. There's sometimes limits on the number of fans that can be at the ballpark. The umpires don't need to be involved in policing any of that. Teams and the leagues will take care of all that stuff. All right, now let's go into some of the details on the positioning. For right-handed batters, so the position of the umpires will be based on the handedness of the batter. For right-handed batters, the batter will be in this batter's box over here. And the way the BallStrike umpire finds his position is he comes into the infield, generally in this area. Then what he can do is take a line from the point of the plate outside the dirt circle, and he can position himself so he's lined up on that line, looking right into the catcher with a really good view of the outside corner here. And then in terms of depth, usually you want to be about halfway between the pitcher's mound and second base. And the intersection of these two areas is going to be the ideal starting position for the BallStrike umpire for every pitch. Once you get out on the field and see this, you'll find this position. This will just help you get lined up for the first game or something like that. And you can make slight adjustments based on this, based on the pitcher's pitching motion, the batters, and so on and so forth. This will be the starting position. Now for the right-handed batter, the line umpire is going to move, as I said, from behind the catcher, come right out to the edge of the dirt circle in a very safe spot behind the batter to take a position here. You can see you're lined up right down the first baseline with a great view down that. And if the ball's hit down the third baseline, you're going to have to move around. We'll talk about mechanics on balls hit in play later. These are the starting positions. So line umpire behind the batter, BallStrike umpire out in the infield. For left-handed batters, the batter's going to be in the opposite batting box, and you just flip everything around. So line up edge of the dirt circle to the point of the plate, about halfway between the pitching plate and second base. This is a good starting position for the ball strike umpire. The line umpire moves to the other side, edge of the dirt circle, behind the batter, nice safe position. If you forget and you're stuck and the line umpire forgets to move and you're stuck right here and you don't move over, when you see the batter taking his practice swings, you'll realize you're in a risky position. Foul balls can come off here really easily. So watch those practice swings. You realize, oh my gosh, I don't want to stand here, and you'll get the heck out of there and get back to your nice safe position behind the batter. All right, those are the starting positions. The next thing we'll talk about is the mechanics on every pitch, what you have to do to get in the right position and the calls you have to make. All right, we're going to start with the ball strike umpire. The ball strike umpire, to start the game and every time after time has been called, needs to put the ball back into play. So what they'll do is look around, make sure everyone's ready, make sure the pitcher has a ball. You have to know where the ball is, and you'll issue the statement, play. That's all you need to do. That puts the ball in play. And then you'll go down into a hands on knees set. So this is an athletic position. You'll get your hands on your knees, crouched down, ready to move, focused on the ball in the pitcher's hand. The pitcher will deliver the ball. You'll follow the ball from the pitcher's hand through the strike zone, hopefully, and to the catcher. And then you'll make a call on the pitch. If the pitch does not touch any part of the strike zone over the plate, you're going to call it a ball, and you do this by remaining in your hands on knees set, and then just in a calm voice, not super loud, you'll just say ball. You want to be loud enough that the pitcher and the batter can hear you so that you know that everybody knows what the call is, but from your body language, everyone will know nothing exciting happened. That was just a ball. On the other hand, if the pitched ball comes through the strike zone, any part of the ball goes through any part of the strike zone over the plate, and let me remind you, the Little League strike zone is from the top of the knee to the armpits. So any part of the ball crosses any part of the strike zone, then you have a called strike. So what you'll do for that call is you'll stand up out of your hands on knees set, stand up nice and tall. You're going to make a fist pounding motion and call out in a very loud voice that everyone at the ballpark can hear you, strike. Next call you're going to make, if the batter swings at the ball and makes an attempt to hit the ball, you have a swinging strike. Mechanics wise, on swinging strikes, you want to stand up out of your hands on knees set. You're going to make that same pounding motion with your right hand, a fist in your right hand, but you do not need to verbalize anything on a swinging strike because everyone's watching the game. They saw the person swing. You don't need to pile on and make the batter feel bad by yelling out strike. So no verbalization, you just give the hand signal for a strike. Another call that needs to be made often is a foul ball. Batter swings at the ball, makes contact with it, but say the ball goes to the backstop. The call here is you come out of your hands on knees set. As soon as the ball is foul, you put both hands up and out in front of you and yell foul. If the ball goes completely out of the stadium, you'll need to get a new ball into the pitcher from the defensive team. When the ball comes in, the pitcher has the ball on the pitching plate. You're going to need to put the ball in play again, and this cycle starts over with the next pitch. Play, hands on knees set, waiting for the next pitch. Those are the basic calls that you'll make over and over and over and over again in a game as the ball strike umpire. Now, details on the mechanics what arm motions and signals you have to make and how you make those calls, including even hands on knees set, putting the ball in play, there's some great videos on the Little League University website. So if you go to the next page in this handout, which will be attached to this video, there's a link to all of these Little League University videos on how to make these calls. So I'll let you check these out on your own. It really goes into detail about how to do all these things. Putting the ball in play, hands on knees set, balls, strikes, swinging strikes, foul balls. Now these videos were made in the past, so this was before the socially distanced system, but the calling mechanics remain the same. It just might be done by a different person. The plate umpire is not going to be calling balls and strikes anymore. It's going to be the BallStrike umpire. But the way you make the calls is the same. So check those out. Now let's go back to other calls that need to be made at pitches. And these are a little bit different. So the first one we're going to talk about is a check swing. So if the pitcher throws the ball towards the plate, makes the pitch is a ball, but the batter looks like he started an attempt to swing at the ball and then stopped and pulled it back. Now we have a check swing. So what you're going to do is you're going to stay in your hands on knees set. You're going to make the ball call, ball, and then you're going to appeal to your line umpire, your partner, who's at the plate, and remember, with that really good angle on the bat and the intentions of the batter. So what you can do is you can stand up, you can point to your partner with your left hand, call out their name, and ask him if the batter went. So the way I do it is I stand up, I call ball, stand up out of hands on knees set, say, Brent, did he go? And your line umpire, your partner, will respond with either yes, he did, which means the batter, in his opinion, did attempt to strike at the ball, or no, he did not, which means he did not attempt to swing at the ball. If the answer you get back from the line umpire is no, he did not, then your call stands as a ball, and it's a good idea to repeat the count. So at that point, you can put up the balls and strike count on your hands. It's the ball count on your left hand, the strike count on your right hand. So you can say 2 balls, no strikes, if that's the count at the time, and then everybody knows what the call was. The batter did not make an attempt. If your answer is yes, he did, then you're going to need to change your ball call to a strike call. So you're going to say, that's a strike, and then it's definitely important to give the count again. In this case, you can say 1 ball, 1 strike, and then everyone's clear as to the result of that pitch. So what's different about this is the check swing appeals are going the other way. So with the original system, plate umpire calls the check swing, appeals down to the base umpire. And in this system, it's the BallStrike umpire, which is appealing to the line umpire at the plate. In both cases, you're appealing to the umpire who has the best view of this. So in this system, the line umpire has a great view, trying to judge the intentions of the batter at whether he's attempting to swing at the ball or not. Next call that you have to make from time to time is if the batter gets hit by a pitch. In this case, both the line umpire and the BallStrike umpire are going to be looking for this. Anytime either one of them sees the batter hit by the pitch, you'll just come out of the hands on knees set and make the same signal for a foul ball, except you'll call time. Come out of the hands on knees set, time, and then you'll award the batter the base if he's entitled to first base on the hit by pitch. All right, those are the pitch mechanics for the BallStrike umpire. Now we need to talk about the mechanics and responsibilities of the plate umpire, the line umpire in this system. Now, what's really important for the line umpire is because they're not calling every pitch, the BallStrike umpire now is calling every pitch from the infield, all the balls, all the strikes. it's really important that that line umpire stay engaged. You might go 10 pitches with nothing to do, nothing to call, and then you'll get something really tricky that's in your responsibility back there as the line umpire. So you really need to stay engaged with every pitch. You never know when you're going to be called on to make that critical call. Mechanics wise, same thing. Relax between pitches. Once the plate umpire puts the ball in play or the pitcher's ready to pitch, you're going to go down into that hands on knees set, looking out at the pitcher and taking into account with your peripheral vision the runners and seeing what they're up to. And the pitch is going to come in. If it's a simple ball strike call, the ball strike umpire will make the call. You can stand back up and relax, get ready for the next pitch. However, if there are some pitches that you're going to be required to call. So first of all, foul balls. If the batter swings at the ball comes up to the backstop, you can help that as well. Come out of your hands on knees set, hands in front of you, palms out, foul. If the player swings at the ball and just tips the ball, and the ball goes sharp and direct into the catcher's mitt, then you have a foul tip. So a lot of times we use our ears to make this call. It's sometimes hard to see whether the ball was tipped or not, but you can hear that tick of the bat as the ball ricochets off it into the catcher's glove. In that case, you're in the best position to make this call. So the mechanics for a foul tip are you stand up out of your hands on knees set. You take your right hand and brush off the fingers of your left hand crossed in front of you, up and out, and then you give the swinging strike mechanic, and there's no verbalization for a foul tip. So it's just like a swinging strike mechanic. For a foul tip, the batter has to swing, and you just brush off your fingers of your left hand to indicate that the ball was nicked by the bat. There's no mechanic because it's a swinging strike and the ball remains in play, unlike a foul ball. So you don't bring your hands up, and no verbalization on foul tips. And that is your responsibility as the line umpire in this system. You're closest to the plate, closest umpire to the plate to make that call. You are on the other end of check swing appeals. So in this system, the ball strike umpire can appeal to you for check swings. You need to answer, wait for the ball call. So if the pitch is a strike, so if the ball strike umpire calls it a strike, it doesn't matter whether the batter attempted to swing or didn't attempt to swing. If the ball strike umpire says the ball went over the strike zone, it's a strike no matter what. So you have to wait for the ball strike umpire to call a ball, and then you're going to judge whether in your mind, the batter made an attempt to strike at the ball. If you think they did, you say, yes, he did. If you think they didn't, and you say, no, he did not. And then the ball strike umpire will adjust the count or his call accordingly based on your result. All right, hit by pitch, you again are closest to the batter, so you have the closest ears to hear hit by pitches. Anytime the batter gets hit by a pitch, you want to call time immediately and award the batter first base if they're entitled to it. Another really good position for you to see the play is with uncut third strikes. So different divisions, some divisions don't play with this rule, and then you don't need to worry about it. Minors divisions, for example, but usually for most leagues in a majors division, the catcher needs to catch the ball cleanly on a strike in order for the batter to strike out. So when there's two strikes, you got to pay particular attention to this. If the catcher drops the strike, the ball lands on the ground, then the batter is entitled to advance to first base if there's not somebody already there or there's two outs. You also need to be aware that if the pitch is delivered, batter swings, catcher drops it, good catchers will pick up the ball and immediately try to tag the batter, who may not realize that the catcher's dropped the ball. So because that play happens right in the vicinity of home plate, that's going to be your call. So you're responsible for the tag. Sometimes the catcher will tag attempt to tag the runner and miss. So if there's no tag, you have to signal that too. So what you say on an uncaught third strike, so there'll be a swing, you'll come out of your hands on knees set. If the ball is on the ground, you'll say no catch, and then you'll look for that tag. If there's a tag, you can immediately call batters out on the tag. If there's no tag, you'll say no, no, give a safe signal with your arms outstretched to indicate that there's no tag. And then you have to be aware of further plays. Usually the catcher will try to throw the ball down to first base and make an out on the batter down at first base. If the catcher does catch the ball cleanly on the third strike, but there seems to be some confusion, you can say that's a catch. If the batter is running when he's not entitled to, so say, for example, if there's less than 2 out, there's a runner on first base and the ball is uncaught and the batter takes off for first, even though he's not entitled to, you can say batter's out, just to clarify for everyone that he's not allowed to run in that case. So uncaught third strikes, you need to be aware of those situations, get ready to make a call on that. Now, this is also the case if the ball just skips into the catcher. So according to the rule, the third strike comes in. If the batter swings and the ball bounces in the dirt, skips into the catcher's mitt, that is still not a catch. That's not a ball caught in flight according to the rules. So again, you have to signal no catch and look for a play made on the batter trying to advance. All right. Couple more things. One is leadoff violations. So in Little League, leadoffs are not allowed, and you as the line umpire are in a great position to look out and observe the runners on their bases. So any runners need to be on the base at the time of the pitch, and if any one of them is not, what you're going to do is drop your leadoff flag. There's no verbalizations or anything. You just drop that, let the results of the play finish off, and then you'll award bases or position the runners as required by the rule. This rule is a little bit complicated. You have to check your rule book to get into the details of this, but just remember you're responsible for this as the line umpire, and it works really good. BallStrike Umpire is busy following the pitch in, and some of the runners are behind him. You have a great view of everyone. You can watch the runners, see if anyone's doing anything that they're not supposed to do, drop your leadoff flag if required, and then still follow the pitch in and take care of your pitch responsibilities. Good, you guys are a team out there. This definitely emphasizes the teamwork aspects. And one other thing that I wanted to mention is you have a responsibility to keep the plate clean for your partner. So your partner's out there in the infield trying to make good ball strike calls. They really need a clean plate in order to get good perspective on the pitch coming in. So it's going to be your job. You're at the plate. You have the plate brush. It's going to be your job to keep things clean for your partner. I usually clean the plate at the beginning of every inning. So after the defense has thrown the ball down to second, sometimes the catcher will kick some sand over the plate. I go and clean off the plate with the plate brush as the new batter's coming in to start the inning. And if the defense is doing their job and no runners score, usually the plate stays clean. The other time, if runs are scoring, though, a lot of time if someone slides into the plate or even just running around the bases when they step on the plate, they'll get the plate dirty. That's a good time once the play is finished to clean the plate off, give the pitcher who just got scored on a good clean target to focus on for the next batter to try to get them back on track. Give your partner a nice clean look at the ball at the strike zone from there. One other thing that also helps the scorekeeper catch up a little bit, baseball can be kind of hectic when runs are being scored all the time. Just a little pause, clean the plate off. That lets the scorekeeper catch up, make sure the score gets kept correctly. All right, those are the pitch mechanics in the socially distanced umpiring system for the BallStrike umpire and the line umpire. Again, key thing, line umpire needs to stay engaged. Again, I'll refer you on the next page to the calls. I've also called out some of the calls the line umpire needs to make: hands on knee set, foul ball, foul tip, and the mechanics, some of the mechanics for the uncaught third strike. All right, that's positioning and pitch mechanics in the socially distanced umpiring system. The next video will address balls put into play and the mechanics where you need to be in order to make the right calls, where you're going to need to move to, depending on how the ball is hit and how you have to react and what the runners are doing.